it's Lynn Brown. I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team, and I live the first half of my life people-pleasing. And then in my spare time, I was trapped by the opinions of others. It was more like living in a mental prison. I'm not kidding you. But then one day, I took a step into the direction of my dreams. I could not see the whole journey ahead, but I took the first step. And y'all, when I changed the way I looked at things, the things I looked at changed. I mean, Wayne Dwyer was really right. So now I've committed the rest of my life to becoming the best version of me and partnering with people who want to do the same. Today we're going to talk about our thoughts. We know thoughts are things. We're going to talk about our emotions and how they impact our results. We're not just going to survive this holiday season, but let's thrive through this holiday season. Another way of looking at that is we're going to be talking today about how to avoid getting your tinsel in a tangle. As we've mentioned before, what we are thinking about really matters. I cannot tell you how many holiday seasons I experienced that were just clouded over with comparison. I was so stuck in the comparison trap and the stories that I had created in my mind. Yes, we all create stories. It's like we have this running just series, like a Netflix series of stories that we play over and over and over and over. My feelings, thoughts, and emotions often created these bogus stories, these BS stories that created anxiety and really just took the life, the joy out of my heart. I mean, we all know the drill. We're bombarded with wish lists and holiday parties and family gatherings and families that are blended and change in relationships, sticking to our health goals, finishing the year in business goals, all while listening to Christmas music and gazing into snow globes. But y'all, does it really have to be so busy, as we like to say, or stress-filled? The results that we're getting, honestly, we can thank ourselves because they come from our very best thinking. I mean, we can try to blame it on our circumstances. We can try to blame it on our geographic location or our family or our genetics or our bank account or whatever. But we can rise above the emotion of it all if we choose to. There are some people I know that are totally comfortable right where they are. I'll never forget one cold winter. There was this woman, an elderly woman on the side of the road, and she was obviously homeless, so I stopped to help her. And I immediately just, we pooled our money together, got her a hotel room for the night, and, she had given me this long story of how she needed to get to California. And then finally, right before we took her to the hotel, she said, honestly, if you could just get me some cigarettes, I don't really need to go to California. The next day, I was so surprised to get back. When I drove back into town, there she was sitting on the side of the road. She never even slept in the hotel. She chose her circumstance. But one tool that I have incorporated into my daily routine, and it is not of my own making, honestly. It's the brilliance of Mel Robbins. I mean, it sounds so silly, like, how could this possibly work? But it's to count backwards from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just go, do the thing. I know. It sounds too good to be true. But there's actually scientific research that backs all this stuff up. Now, in my brain and how I apply it to my life is this. It just kind of it's a reset. I like to think of it as a reprogramming. It has shifted my thinking. And I think the scientific stuff goes a lot deeper, and if you're interested in it, you can Google all that. But it somehow shifts the thinking to the, like the prefrontal cortex of your brain or something. And, honestly, that's not my gifting, so I'm staying out of that. But just forget the technical terms. Let's just stick with counting backwards. I can handle that. And it's funny because Mel also says there's a reason you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Because if you counted in the logical sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of people would just keep going, and that would be, their kind of escape zone to not move forward. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's kind of like a rocket. That's her analogy. It's like a rocket launching off, and you have to move. And so I actually tried this about a year or so ago. I was really having trouble sleeping through the night, and since then I have created new sleep patterns and routines at night, lowered the temperature of my home to 66 degrees, which was the big game changer. But one thing that this tool is good for is, instead of oftentimes I'd wake up same time every night, 3:30, sometimes to the exact minute I would wake up. And I would say, oh, you need to get up, get some water, go to the bathroom, whatever. And I would lay there and think about getting up. Well, this tool, I decided I'm going to try this out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, get up. I know it's cold or whatever. Just get up, go get some water, do whatever, and jump back in the bed. And it actually helped me return back to a deeper sleep a lot faster, rather than starting to think at night. I don't know if you're thinkers out there listening to this Gritty Women podcast, but a lot of times at night I began to think, and things can get really big at night. So this technique helped me. If sleep is something that you are working on increasing the quality of in your life, I would challenge you to try this technique. And so this one simple step is something that can help us reset. Oftentimes, in coaching people through relationship issues, the clients begin to discover how much time they're living in the trap of the story. They're trying to recreate a Hallmark movie with reality. And maybe for you, it's not a relationship issue. Maybe it's walking in the break room this time of year when it's filled with fudge and gingerbread men and, chips and cheese straws or whatever the thing is. And you begin to rationalize and you try to convince yourself, well, I could really just wait till next year. I mean, after all, who sticks to their goals, their health goals in the holiday season? You 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, reset, walk out. I don't know. Fix some coffee. Drink some water, go do some jumping jacks. I don't know what it is that you have to do, but create a new reset. Maybe you're visiting your mom for the weekend or relatives, and you're in the kitchen, and maybe you're not sifting the flour before stirring up the sugar cookies. I mean, you are grown, but you go back and you feel that wash of emotion. And about that time, it's the most wonderful time of the year, begins to play, and you're like, oh, that's a bunch of BS. Remember, this is a family show, so bogus story. Okay, so just reset. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And remember, nobody can cause you to feel a certain way unless you give them permission. Most of our anxiety comes from the past or future, y'all. It's not from the present. Take a deep breath. Take several if you have to. You're fine. Stir the cookie dough. Y'all, this kind of stuff is not life or death. But if it goes unchallenged, it can keep us in these mental prisons. And then all of a sudden, you notice you're feeling better. You're turning up the music. Over the past 5 years, I have literally been reprogramming my brain. That's nothing hokey pokey, spooky ooky, nothing like that. But I have been recreating thoughts, breaking through limiting beliefs. And trust me, I have come a long way, but I still have some to go. We have to realize that whatever the thing is we're going through, let's just be realistic. It's not the worst thing in the world. It can always be worse. I can remember, when my kids were small, they would always just say, don't tell us those stories. Don't go into detail about how, there's always somebody else that's worse off, or, you don't want to hurt the little animal because his little family's back home waiting for him or whatever. And they would always just don't tell us those stories, because they didn't want to get caught up in the emotion of it. And I'll be honest, that's what I was doing. I was trying to trap them in the emotion of it all. And that is not really the most effective parenting skill. So I digress, but I'm just transparent. I'll tell you that there were so many times that I chose parenting skills based on my fear of of emotion, my fear of outcome, my fear of the unknown. And I parented through control, but that's a whole nother podcast. We don't have time for that today. So when you're in that place, just try this tool. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, it's not my genius idea. It's Mel Robbins. Just realize you're okay. Enjoy the music. Whatever situation you find yourself in today, just maybe you're thinking it's the worst. Maybe you just found out your nephews and nieces are all getting four-wheelers for Christmas and your kids are getting board games this year. It's okay. Yes, even if you had the conversation months ago that y'all were all going to agree to do this and things changed. Just focus on being you. Focus on your values. Focus on wanting to make a difference this holiday season. But start by making a difference in you. Be you. The Y in gritty for Gritty Women stands for you. Just be you. Y'all, trust me. The reason I'm so passionate about this is for so long, the first half of my life, I was not me. I lived behind a mask. I was pretty much a clown. I just was a puppet for everybody else. So start with loving who you are becoming and love others in the same way. It's so interesting to me. It's the whole reason we celebrate this season, because love was born in a manger. And if we want to live our best life and be who we were designed to be, created to be, then we have to create this change. It's not going to happen on its own. Trust me. It's not going to come without action either. Just take a baby step, but just keep growing. Just keep moving forward. You got to leave the comfort zone and don't go back to it. Just throw away the keys. There's no plan B, y'all. This is no dress rehearsal. This is the real thing. I hear people talk about what they're going to do when. I hear, people make endless lists of what they want to do. The bucket list. Seriously, instead of trying to fill the bucket, why don't you empty yours? What do you need to get rid of? Even if you have to do a few things afraid. Trust me, I'm living afraid right now. But as long as you're safe, you're going to attract safe things, average things, comfortable things, because like attracts like. Whatever you have to do, hire a coach. I don't know. Do the thing. Start the book. Y'all have 7 mentors. 7 mentors. And they're not free. I have invested in myself, or I promise you, I would not be talking with you today. There would be no Gritty Women podcast, because I was living in a very safe zone, a comfortable zone that was so uncomfortable I didn't even know it. I was so close to it I couldn't even see it. I don't know what's holding you back. Whatever you're thinking about, the thing that you fear, the emotions that you fear, all that's coming from these deep-rooted stories that we've played, this series, this Netflix series that we've played for years and years and years. And it's funny, too, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and an untruth. But when your should becomes a must, that's when things will happen for you. Nothing's going to just happen without a beginning. Everything begins with a thought. My mentor, Paul Martinelli, always teaches us, everything you see was already created. It was created first through a thought. These stories that we have, our mindsets, whether they're fixed or the growth mindsets, they started with a thought. April the 9th, I changed a thought. I broke through a limiting belief. And I opened the door for the first time to move me into action. And I have achieved my weight loss goal. I've released 25 pounds the last several months. I have 5 more to go. But don't be so hard on yourself, guys. Let's remember that we are designed to be real, not perfect. There's no perfect person walking on this earth. And the most powerful things, words and thoughts, are the ones that you say to yourself. We tend to think it's what everybody else has said to us, about us, comparison on social media, whatever. That's another little bogus story. It's what we say to ourselves. It's not what other people think about us that's so important. It's what we think about us. So let's all take some action today. I know you're thinking, November's about over, Christmas is coming, January's a new year. I think I might just wait. No. Stop it. Shut it. Don't say that. To avoid getting our tinsel entangled this Christmas season, this holiday season, let's take the first step. Oh, one more thought. You know that person in the office? Yes, you know the one I'm talking about. Why don't you share some holiday cheer with them this year? Yep. One thing we can do is just see everybody we meet with an invisible sign around their neck that says, "Make me feel special." Or see everybody that you meet with a number 10 on their head. Until next week, guys, let's remember that gritty is the new pretty. G is for an attitude of gratitude. R is that we are resilient. I is that we are going to inspire ourselves and others. T is that we have to be tough. This isn't for wimps. The other T in gritty is to think for yourself. And why? Just be you. Most important thing, just be you. I believe in you guys. See you next week.